Hi there, it's Linda here. Thanks for joining me today as I play with this Christmas tree die from MFT's November release. It's the free die that you get when you spend $60 or more at the MFT store, and I thought I'd come up with a number of ways of using it today on our Christmas cards. So first of all, here you'll see that I've just die cut it out of a small piece of white card. That card is 11.5 centimeters by 7 centimeters, and that's a size you'll see me using often today. This piece then is cut just a little bit larger than that, and I'm ink blending on this piece with Distress Oxides. So I've got abandoned coral, picked raspberry and worn lipstick. They're the three colours I'm using for this first card. So Distress Oxides are so easy to blend with. You just need a nice, really well inked sponge. It works much better if you get a lot of ink on your sponge, but then tap it off. And I've chosen these pink colours today to go with the pattern papers that I have in mind. So once my ink blending is done, I've added foam tape to the back of the die cut piece, and I'm just adhering that onto the ink blended piece. And I've chosen some of the patterns that I'm going to use behind my Christmas tree. I'm just working out where they're going to go, and these patterned papers are from Doodlebug's Here Comes Santa Claus 6x6 paper pad. I have had it perhaps for a couple of years now, and the sentiment piece, as you can just see me showing you there, Season's Greetings, comes from that same set as well. So once all that's put together with a few Kaisercraft rhinestones to decorate the tree, my first card is finished. Then moving on to card number 2, again die cutting the tree, this time from a piece of cardstock that's cut just a bit smaller than my card front. Pushing out the pieces, and I've die cut that first tree in the very centre of the card. Now I'm positioning the second cut to go just to the right of it and up a little bit. Push out all the little pieces, and then I will position the die on the left side of the first tree, and I kind of go up and down, where will I put it, or will I, won't I, higher, lower, and I go pretty much back to the same spot as tree number 2, so that those two on the sides are just a little bit higher than the one in the middle, and then I die cut that and push out all the little pieces. As I'm pushing out this piece here, that tiny little decoration going across the tree, the tinsel, it breaks. So I just grab a little bit of liquid glue and stick it back together, and you'll never know, you really won't, that ever happened. So there's my piece all ready. I'm just using that little adhesive remover. I don't know if you've got one of those, but it's so handy when there's little bits of stickiness on your piece, just to rub them off. So this piece is now cut a little bit larger than my die cut piece, and this one is cut to the size of my card front, and I'm doing my beautiful rainbow blended background. This card would be my favourite out of the 7, because I'm such a fan of ink blending and because I love the rainbow colours so much. So I really do love this one. It turned out so bright and beautiful. And as you can see, I've got my Distress inks, not the oxides, the original Distress here. I just find them more vibrant, and I do love the colours you get when you blend them. So I've used picked raspberry, festive berries, this one is spiced marmalade, and then I will blend mustard seed, twisted citron, peacock feathers, and that's all I get room for. I run out of room before I get to the last 2. So you'll see me adding the new colour and then going back to the colour before to blend it out. I do that each time. I'm always tapping off on my paper on the side so that I don't actually make round sponge marks as I go to my paper. It's good to have your sponge quite well inked. I have found that over the years that if there's not enough ink on your sponge, it's harder to get a nice blend. Ink it up nice and juicy, and then tap off and you'll get a better blend. So as you can see, going back to the colour before and then moving on to the next colour. So a bit more twisted citron here. I went back to the mustard seed, blended it a bit more, and now on to my final colour, which is peacock feathers. As I add the peacock feathers, the twisted citron blends with that and I get a deeper green between the two, so it really does end up being a beautiful rainbow piece. Now once that's finished, I'll be able to adhere my die cut piece over the top. This piece, the blended piece, will be adhered to my card front, and then I'll be able to add my die cut piece with some foam adhesive on top of this. Adding just a little bit more blending to get those colours where I want them, and then using my tape runner, just adding that to my card front. It's a little bit big, so I just cut off a little bit of the blue at the top, and then it's a matter of adding lots and lots of foam tape to the back, so it's a bit of a fiddly process. I'm certainly not going to make you watch all of that. You might just go to sleep on me. Take off all the released paper on the back and then adhere that to my card. Then it's just a matter of working out where my sentiment's going to go. I'm using a lawn fawn set here for the sentiment, and I'm using peacock feathers, stamped it a couple of times. The distress inks, you do need to do that, and I just wanted to use one of the inks that would coordinate with what I blended. And then I grab out my Kaisercraft rhinestones again. I gave them a good workout on these cards today, so it's always great to just get that lovely little bit of sparkle. And isn't she gorgeous? She's so beautiful and rich looking with her beautiful blended inks. I love it. So moving on now to the Zig card that I did. The Zig Clean Colour Real brush markers. Haven't used them in so long. So just blending 3 of the greens, light green, green and dark green, and then yellow at the top for the star. So putting down my colour first on Bristol Smooth watercolour card, then grabbing my water brush and blending those colours together. Then I've got my fabulous Nuvo Moonstone Glimmer Paste, and I'm just adding a thin smear of that all over, and then once that's dry I will stick one of the little die cut trees that's on that same size piece that I was telling you before, 11.5 centimeters by 7 centimeters, and I adhere that down to the glittery piece. Now here I am cutting the die from some foam, craft foam, so I was just working out where the die needed to go so that I can cut that piece perfectly and it'll fit behind my white piece. Get all that lined up, and then some more liquid adhesive on the back of the craft foam. Love these little fine tip applicators, so handy. And then it's a matter of choosing my patterned paper. I did choose one from that Kaisercraft Peace and Joy stamp set, and I'm matching up my sentiment here using the dark green Zig marker. Just have to do it a couple of times and you end up with a perfectly coordinated sentiment to go with the colours on your tree. So adding that, the tree at the top of the card, and the sentiment goes below, mounted also on foam tape. Doesn't it look sparkly and gorgeous? So pretty. The Nuvo Moonstone Glimmer Paste is fantastic. Love it. Right, so the next card. Adding the white die cut tree to some patterned paper, and that patterned paper is again from the Doodlebug Here Comes Santa Claus paper pad. Now this time that white die cut tree is adhered with repositionable adhesive, because I'm going to remove the white tree and just leave these gold glitter pieces. So I'm just using the negative section of the die cuts this time. So I had cut the tree before from gold cardstock, and I'm just piecing all those little bits together now. And then I will remove the white section that's basically just a guide for me, and I'm removing that now very carefully, and all the gold pieces are staying stuck down with the foam dots that I used. Nice little touch is just to smear the gold Versa colour ink pad all the way around my card front, just to tie in the gold and give it a coordinated look. And then I've got these shimmery enamel dots, and I'm adding them in pink and red to the tree, and then using the same gold Versa colour ink to add my sentiment from the new MFT set. And here is my next card. As you can see, a little bit of a different way of using the negative space instead. And then we're moving on to, this one was not too difficult, so I'll just quickly tell you that you can see the green glitter cardstock behind, and rainbow piece from MFT's paper pad is stuck on the front, and these are the little bits that came out. These are the little negative pieces from the card you've just seen, and now I'm inlay die cutting. I'm lying them into the die cut, the white die cut, and just lying them all in for another look. I've picked a pattern paper to go behind them from the new, let me just check, it's the new Really Rainbow Christmas pad from MFT. White heat embossed the sentiment on black, colouring the little star with some Spectrum Noir clear shimmer pen, and another card is finished. Inlaid die cutting technique this time. And my last card, just showing you this one here. I've used alcohol inks for the colouring of the tree in the background, and gold tree over the top with some pattern papers around the edge, and my cards are all complete. I hope you've enjoyed watching today, and it's given you some ideas for how you can use your dies. Thanks for watching. See you again soon.